former sergeant and a former deputy from the Lee County Sheriff's Office break their silence and explain what they say happened during an arrest that got them and another deputy fired.
Hey everybody, I'm RJSMITH. Welcome aboard. This is Crazy News React, where I find the craziest news stories from across the globe and bring them right here to you in your notification box.
LCSO deputies Alexander Ritchie and Brad Davidson are on the scene of a traffic stop near this gas station at Kingston Drive and Palm Beach Boulevard in Tice. Sergeant Meyer drives up to check on them. Meyer says Samick, who appears drunk, approaches them carrying an open can of the alcoholic beverage, Twisted Tea.
So at first they said they heard yelling and they went to check it out. Now they're saying that this man Samick walked up to them. I don't know about that. Doesn't hold much water, right?
We typically try not to arrest people for very minor county ordinance if we can help it.
They don't like arresting people? Come on. Do any of you guys believe that bullshit? Their job description is to arrest people. That's why they're there, to pick up the dangerous people and put them in jail. However, the cops think that everybody's the enemy and they've been doing whatever the hell they want. There was no reason for them to approach this individual. Private property. Business owner did not call in. Nobody else complained. Everything was just fine. The guy was enjoying his beer. He's on private property. And then they showed up and they decided, they're a little bored, so they're gonna, make something out of nothing. Happens all the time with law enforcement, guys. This is just the truth of what happens.
So we're trying to get rid of this guy. Just telling him to move on, get out of here, leave us alone.
Samick won't go. Meyer goes into the gas station to see if the night manager wants him removed from the property.
The officer takes it upon himself to go into the convenience store to ask the manager or the worker if they wanted Samick removed. They didn't know what the hell the cops were talking about. And then the guy out there, he's drinking a beer and creating problems. You want him removed? Oh, well, the guy thinks he's creating problems. Oh, yeah, remove him.
The sergeant gets a yes to the trespass, but still can't convince Samick to leave.
I go, if you don't go, you're going to jail. That's the last warning. After that, I have to do something. He yanks away. I don't know when he turns, if he's going to swing at me or not. I punch him before he can do that.
Meyer then grabs Samick and takes him to the ground.
It wasn't a clean takedown because he's resisting me. So,
you know what's really interesting is that the cursing, all the belligerent behavior, all of that stuff that the cops claim Samick was doing, that he was drunk, violent, that he was calling them names, that he was threatening them to take off their gun belts. Where is that? Where's the body cam footage? Oh, well, that is the mystery, because all of that footage would have proven the officer's story, right? It would have backed him up. But some reason, all of that body camera footage is not available.
I sort of stumble, I take him down and I fall basically on top of him. So I'm wrestling with this guy. And I'm giving him orders to give me his hands. And I give him multiple strikes. I give him probably 3 strikes. In the torso areas, he doesn't stop. Still trying to throw me off of him. So I continue, I give him a couple more. 2 or 3. Stop again. Give him another opportunity. Give me your hands. Nope. Gave him a couple more.
Oh, it's getting quite good, my people, isn't it? He told the guy if he didn't leave, he would be arrested. Now, keep in mind, the guy hasn't committed a crime. Why would the officer take it upon himself to go into the store, notify the clerk that there's a guy outside drinking, do you want him removed? That's not law enforcement. Law enforcement responds, doesn't initiate unless they have a reasonable articulated suspicion a crime is being committed. And then this officer grabs the man from around the neck and slams him onto his face for no reason. If you look at the video, you see there is no aggression on the part of Mr. Samick. But this guy, the body cam video that mysteriously disappeared, well, they forgot that the business had a camera pointing right at him. And this is what the camera saw.
Ritchie tells LCSO investigators he was, quote, evaluating where he could be best used to assist. Davidson says he, quote, did not see how it would make a positive effect.
Do you think you did anything wrong?
I could have acted a little quicker in helping Sergeant Meyer detain him.
Cursing him out, yelling at him. He's continuing to threaten to fight me.
Telling us to take our vests off, telling us to take our gun belts off. and wanting to fight us in the middle of the street.
They're trying to use this story to their benefit. So they are saying that Mr. Samick started cursing at them and becoming violent at them, and he was screaming at them. This is all protected speech. The Supreme Court has found fairly recently too, backed up, that you can call anybody anything you want. That is not necessarily a reason for you to respond. People have free speech. So this guy could have called them piggies if he wanted to, or any worst word you can imagine, and they can't do shit, or they're not supposed to do shit about it. That's the key, isn't it?
We put him in the car. That was the last time that we saw him, or last time that I saw him.
I found Samick at the gas station. He didn't want to be interviewed on camera, but talked to me about what happened. I showed him the surveillance video. Samick argues it's proof he didn't resist and claims at least another one of Meyer's punches you see him throw landed on his face.
The really concerning part for me is what made that officer feel like he had the right to lay hands on this man. The guy's hands are down. He's not swinging. He's not pulling away. He's not doing any of this stuff that the cop claimed he did. They forgot the business had a camera. I'll say it again. It is clear that he had no right to put his arm around the man's neck and slam him onto his head. For what? He hadn't committed a crime. No one had called in and complained about him. He was on private property. This was all initiated and escalated by the police. You're looking right at it. They're telling you everything.
There was not a strike, not one, where he was handcuffed and secured.
But Meyer and Davidson can't prove that with the video Meyer chose to record on his personal cell phone. The IA summary shows that Samick was handcuffed at 2 a.m., but he wasn't removed from the gas station and taken to the hospital until 3 a.m.
Oh, strikes. Isn't that a very vanilla word to use? Strikes, instead of using punches. Listen to the difference. I punched him to get him to submit. Him in the face, punched him in the body, punched him everywhere. And you know this was happening because whenever there's a tussle, police all get on the suspect to bring him under control. In this case, the two officers standing right there did not get involved at all because they saw that their fellow officer had his arm around the person's neck and that there was stuff going on here that just wasn't above board.
The amount of time that is unaccounted for is simply us doing paperwork.
An action Davidson admits he can't prove. He also challenges whether Samick was really hurt during his arrest.
And you have an hour of missing time that you can't explain, and you just say you were doing paperwork. Well, you know what? Not really, because most of the work nowadays is done on computers inside the police cars, okay? There's no paperwork. It's all done on the computer. It's not like the old days where there was the arrest report, there was this report, that report. Everything is digital now, guys. Give me a break. And you don't know what happened to him in the back seat? What do you mean? How could something happen to him in the back seat when he's handcuffed and secure? Explain that to me. It's not getting through. You're saying he might have banged his head on the window? You have absolutely no proof that this happened. And, you know, your word is already tampered with because of what you did.
Are you saying it could have happened before you guys had encountered him?
Several transients in the area that know him have reported to us on more than one occasion he is often getting in fights.
You saw him for 10 minutes before that happened. You guys kept going back and forth trying to de-escalate. Did he look like he had injuries to his face when that was happening?
No, but I can't see. I don't have an X-ray machine. I can't see inside his face.
The word transient, huh? You see how that's thrown out there? The cop speak of transient is intended to be received as nobody, loser, criminal, drug addict. All of the transients say he gets in a lot of fights. What transients are you talking about? How come you have not interviewed them? Why is there no video or any type of audio statements by these transients saying this? None of that exists. We're supposed to just take the word for it.
The IA summary does not offer a conclusive explanation for Samick's injuries, which include fractures to his jaw and right orbital area.
So I don't know, I can't testify as to what maybe happened in the car, if he was banging his head in the car at some point.
Despite the findings and unanswered questions in the IA summary, Meyer and Davidson don't believe they should have been fired.
And it was always projected.
Do you know how hard you have to hit someone to fracture their orbital socket or their jaw? Think about that for a minute. What has to happen for someone to get those sort of injuries? It's very obvious. Being slammed on your face, thrown down by your neck, being punched over and over. That's what caused these injuries. And regardless of what these officers says, Internal Affairs recommended firing, and they also recommended charges. If everything was great in Transylvania, why would they do that?
There are many different techniques to use. They don't all involve force. The guy's hands were down the whole time. He did not make a threatening gesture.
I question why the other officers did not get involved and just kind of stood by. It opens up a lot of questions of what actually went on that evening.
Ex-FBI agent, ex-police officers, these guys would not go on record with a reporter if they weren't absolutely positive that these guys committed a crime and broke policy. They have absolutely no reason to lie for these guys, so they're telling the truth. And they say this was bad. So, if you don't want to believe Mr. Samick, you have an FBI agent and other police officers here who are telling you, not good, not good.
Sheriff Carmine Marcino announced their terminations on Facebook in October, writing, quote, "Use of force was not properly reported and documented." Sergeant Christopher Meyer and Deputy Bradley Davidson were both fired for conduct unbecoming a law enforcement officer, untruthfulness in reports, and for lack of job knowledge and performance. On top of that, Meyer was also fired for improper use of force. Marcino claimed a criminal investigation is underway.
And there we have it, folks. We have the actual report from Internal Affairs. They told you right there what these officers did, and they were fired and charges recommended. There's no reason now for us to believe anything those officers said. And haven't we come full circle in this episode? The thing is, ladies and gentlemen, is everybody should feel safe and secure in their own body, in their own space. If you can't walk down the street without an officer pulling over and saying he wants to search you, something is very wrong. We do not have stop and frisk in our Constitution. There has to be what? That's right, a reasonable articulated suspicion to approach a private citizen. See you next time. Thanks for stopping by. Hit the like, subscribe, and hey, leave a comment. All of this stuff helps me to grow the audience. YouTube shows my videos more, and pretty soon we'll be able to do live streams. But we need another 300 people for that. I'm dependent on you. Hit the subscribe button, and when you come back here tomorrow, you will be a subscriber. Thanks for stopping by.